because we were hated. We were murdered because the Nazis believed that if they could kill the Jews, they could control the world. I mean, you know, it's incredibly far-fetched. But the Judaic component of the Judaic-Christian ethic is one that was an anathema to the Nazis. So the first target was the Jews. And we were allowed to be murdered by our friends around the world until they won the war, and then we were saved. But you can't put this down. This is afterwards. The second thing I want to say to you is you have to be cautious who you publish. And I say to you as a friend, we only just met, and I know you mean well. You've got somebody in here. You've got somebody in here called David Glantz, who organised the S11 process against the World Economic Forum in Melbourne in 2000 and has written material anti-Israel. Shouldn't be here. So we have to make sure that when we talk k'ish echad b'lev echad, with one voice. It has to be an educated voice, and in Mirza Hashem we will see the Bias HaMashiach will come and we will continue to flourish. Maybe not in Paris, maybe life will not be comfortable in England, but there is a place for us. It's called Medinat Yisrael. And meanwhile, while we're here in Australia, we live in a beautiful society, and we have to recognise it every minute, and each one of us should make an attempt to show our appreciation by the support of this country. Susie, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Danny. I'm sure everybody informative too. And just to put in my own 2 cents, I also remember a medrash on the destruction of the 2 Batei Mikdash, the 2 temples, and it actually asked the question about why it is that the galut, the exile, from following the 2nd temple was much longer than the 1st. And the distinction made by the Medrash was that the point that was made that Sinat Chinam, which wasn't called hatred, disunity, but was the cause of the destruction of the 2nd Beit HaMikdash, was much worse than that which caused the 1st Beit HaMikdash. So I concur with that. I'll now open the floor to some questions, so if you'd like to raise your hands if you have a question, I'll call upon you.
Dr. Lamm, you must be aware that during his visit here, the then mayor of Yerushalayim, Ehud Elma, when speaking to a select audience in a private home, he was asked if there were a change of government, that was at the beginning of Oslo, how far back will you be able to go to deny all the land that has been given away? And his answer was very vague. He said, I don't know. Now, Arafat and his murderers helped us in turning the clock back. But the present government cannot possibly go all the way back and deny everything that was given away in Oslo. And that's what you really expect them to do. How?
I'd like to see the strength of Yitzhak Shamir. We don't owe the world anything. We've given to the world. The state of Israel only gives to the world. And what we want to live in is peace. And I'm guided by the teaching of Zev Jabotinsky, who believed that there was a place in Israel for Jews and Arabs to live side by side. Why not? We don't impose. We don't burn mosques. We don't destroy or mess up churches. We allow everybody to live. And why can't they live? Well, on a previous trip, I was driving in the north of Israel. There's a village up there called Furadis. It's an Arab village. And we were driving along. I was driving with the Rolim, my wife, and my daughter Kara. We were visiting her during that year. It was in her Chofesh. It was actually Chol Hamoed Pesach. And I picked up a hitchhiker. The hitchhiker turned out to be a local Arab. Sat in the car, a man my age, give or take, And I started talking to him. So I said to him, I'm wearing a kippah sruga, you know, I mean, it's pretty clear, you know, what my orientation is. So I asked him for his views, and Bekitzur, briefly, he said, I'm an Israeli Arab. I was born in Israel. I live in Furadis. My children go to university. I'm fully employed, and I want to remain that way. My kids have got every opportunity. The whole Galil is full of people that live up there, want to live that way. The government, in my view, by giving anything away, anything at all, is make, personally, now I'm not, please, don't report the State Zionist Council said it, please. I think it's a mistake. Peace by peace is not going to get us to peace. And the government shouldn't reverse anything. The government should do what it's doing. It should strengthen the army. It should strengthen the education of people to understand that that is what's got to happen, and we will resist. That's it. That's the approach of the army. I just want to go on to one other thing. I'm not sure if I answered your question because it was actually quite, you know, I'm not sure I got it completely. But I want to just refer one other thing about education. Education, by the way, is for men and for women. It's for everybody. It's for young and old, and we have to make sure that that's what's happening. That's happening, by the way, and we have to encourage that. Zalman, you wanted to ask.
Yes, I want to thank you for public announcement you given to me.
I
embarrass you into the tradition of your organization, probably, I don't know. But now I have to answer allegation, question, whatever you call it. First of all, about the destruction of first and second temple. You probably know that besides the Torah, it exists Talmud. What is a Talmud? Collection of opinion on every topic which is in the Torah. Talmud collecting opinion of Chachamim, people. One thing, that's the reason, another thing, that's the reason, another thing, that happened because of that. So for the destruction of the temples, it is another opinion. That's what you say, absolutely right. But it's another opinion as well, that people be fighting with each other. People was divided. They not be, it was a two army at the moment when the Babylonian coming to the first temple. It was a two army which was fighting each other inside Jerusalem. And they easy get in and destroy it. Roughly the same thing happened into the second temple. But that's too far. Let's come close to the point. Holocaust. You've been mentioning Zhabotinsky. Do you probably remember how long and how crazy been Zhabotinsky running from one city to another in 1936 and 37 and 38 and asking Jewish establishment to understand what's going on, to accept problem is going from the Hitler to the Jewish people. And what the answer was? You're a provocator. Get out of here. Don't mix with our people. We got 100% assurance from our government that we feel they're all right, we say things all right, everything fine. That's one of the reasons. Another reason. Zhabotinsky requested at least 1 million people to bring to the Eretz Israel. What was the answer? Answer from the Ben Gurion. And answer from the Chaim Weizmann. No? No. Ben Gurion said, you will bring, first of all, we bring the money. Give us the money, then we accept the people. Otherwise, we can't accept the people without a job. And the whole establishment of Jewish people in Europe, in America, in 1939, on one of the Congress, decided that the Jewish people in Europe not under the threat. And after that, all governments make a decision, including United States, and including England, and including